Shalom everyone, greetings from the Holy Land, in the mountains of Judea. This is Shlomo Katz. You're listening to another special session and edition of The Soul of Israel on thelandofisrael.com, on the Land of Israel Network. Good morning, Rabbis Ari Abramowitz and Rabbi Jeremy Gimpel.
Boker Tov.
Mazel Tov, Rabbi Ari Abramowitz.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You have become an engaged man.
That's true.
It's wonderful, incredible, on many, many levels, but I could not just begin a show together and not mention that your radiance and the inner glow that is not just emanating from you, but from all that come in contact with you, is it makes this feel special, and bichlal, life has become much more special.
In a real way, you really are radiating a new light.
Yeah,
it's really fun to see you.
I feel it.
Yeah.
I feel a certain
it's really
serenity.
exciting.
I really do. It's a peace.
It's awesome.
Which is
Amen.
Nice. There's probably no greater feeling, I think, than to have just a peace. It's even better than happiness, I think. I mean, it's tied into happiness.
For now, but then Bezrat Hashem, you're going to experience bringing a child into the world, and then whatever you think is happy now will be like Tisha B'Av. In comparison, in comparison of happiness, Bezrat Hashem Yitbarach.
To many sleepless nights.
Amen.
Amen.
Like I had one last night. Baruch Hashem. Baruch Hashem. I got 20-minute, increments of shluf. But Baruch Hashem, it's all good. We're together now, and right now we're in the bliss of what I would say Eretz Yisrael after celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut. I really do feel a shift in energy. I feel a lot of gates being open. Last time we had our show was right before Yom HaZikaron, the heaviness of Yom HaZikaron. Then we went through Yom Ha'atzmaut, and now we're kind of like charging forth towards Har Sinai. We're going to have some very special days coming up: Pesach Sheni, Yom Yerushalayim, Lag BaOmer, very monumental days that are more connected to more modern times, but truly do provide for us a sense of direction walking towards Har Sinai. But it's not just the days that provide for us a direction, it's also the Parshiot that we're learning. So what's the Parsha of this week? Emor. Emor el kohanim b'nei Aaron v'amarta alehem lenefesh lo yitama ba'amav. It's a very personal Parsha for me, because it's the Parsha of the Kohanim. I'm a Kohen, I'm a priest. Where the beginning of the Parsha speaks about how Kohanim cannot become contaminated. They can't come in contact with death. And the Kohen Gadol, the high priest, has even greater limitations as to what he's able to come in contact with and what not. But the Parsha itself is filled with many different topics. One of them that comes from this Parsha is actually the mitzvah that we're busy doing every day called Sfirat HaOmer. The counting of the Omer also is in this Parsha. Another thing that's mentioned in this Parsha is what I wanted to speak about today briefly, because I believe that it's the most underrated miracle that ever happened in the Beit Hamikdash. In the Holy Temple, many miracles took place, especially in the first Beit Hamikdash, right? Many miracles took place in the Holy Temple. But when those people that were the Olei Regalim, when those who would come 3 times a year up to Yerushalayim on Pesach, Shavuot, and Sukkot, the Kohens had a specific job in order to show the people that would come a certain miracle. There was one miracle that was kind of like, okay, guys, you want to see something really cool? Check this out. And what was it? Lechem hapanim. How would you say that in English? Showbread. The showbread, which is brought up also in our Parsha. Lechem hapanim is clearly coming from our Parsha, where we're instructed to place the showbread. And the miracle would be that when it would be removed the following week to be eaten by a Kohen, you'd put it up on a Friday, I believe, and then only the next Friday it would be removed from the table and then eaten. The question is, why did they wait a week? Why not just right away? So the Gemara explains to us that the greatest miracle happened with the showbread. The actual lashon is kesiduro kach siluko, which means the way that you put it on, it was in the same state when it was taken off a week later. What? Hot and fresh. That was the miracle. That the showbread that was taken off of the table a week after it was placed, it's as if it just came out of the oven. And that was the big miracle that Chazal explain, our sages explain, was shown to people that would come up from Olei Regalim, and the people that would come up 3 times a year. But the question is, why was that such the greatest miracle? I mean, think of what other miracle would you think would be cooler than that?
I like the one that the incense or the smoke from the altar went straight up, no matter if there was wind or not.
That's pretty far out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's throw a few others out. What else?
There was always room, even when they were bowing. They bowed
Amazing.
Down, like space
Also
would actually
regarding
expand.
the actual space, the measurements of the things that were placed in the Aron. The Aron, even the structure of the ark, didn't make sense according to its measurements. It miraculously had its own measurement. What else? It would be pretty far out.
That there were no flies, no bad smell, even though there were a lot of animals and a lot of sacrifices there.
I mean, what about fire coming down from heaven? That's
to consume, right. Okay, that's a small one.
Right, that's just a minor. But showbread. What? What's going
Still
on?
fresh.
What's the pshat here? What's going on over here? So there's a Gemara that says, and I think this is something that relates to all of us, because we're each as good as it could be or as bad as it could be. One Parsha we're always dealing with is Parnasa. Parnasa, livelihood, making a living. It's something each person struggles with, even if they have money. Actually, especially when they have money.
Yeah, the people that I know that have a lot of money spend so much time making sure that their money is making money. They're worried about their money, their investments, and it's like they are even more invested and concerned and consumed with their money than people that just kind of like make it happen.
Mamash kacha. I mean, the rabbis taught us, marbe nechasim, marbe de'aga. The more property you have, the more worries you have. It's just the way of life. Just the way of life. But this Parsha of Parnasa, how much should I try to be working hard? And if Hashem sees I'm trying to work hard to make Parnasa, then I'll receive it. And if I'm not trying too hard, I won't receive it. How much should I be focusing on Parnasa versus Avodat Hashem, like trying to become a better Jew, a learned Jew? Each person I know is in this struggle. All of us. It's part of our tikkun in this world. It's part of our fixing that each of our neshamas have to go through in this world for whatever the reasons are. But lechem, if anything resembles parnasa in this world, is bread. Obviously, you worked for bread. You worked so you could eat. But the Gemara tells us in Masechet Rosh Hashanah, it says that mizonotav shel adam ktsuvim mi Rosh Hashanah ad Rosh Hashanah. Meaning, the amount of money you're going to make in a year, at any point of the year, was already determined this past Rosh Hashanah. You could try really hard, or not try that much. That which was determined already to come into your lot and your portion was already decided on Rosh Hashanah. That's what the Gemara says. That's Rosh Hashanah. Mamash Sharei Parnasa. That's when it's determined. What happens to a person when he realizes that that's a truth?
Well, then all the anxiety, stress, what are you stressed about? It's already been decided anyway.
Meaning, you still got to do what you got to do, but how much more or less you make, that was already nachon. So what the tzaddikim say is that when a person tunes into that emunah, that it was already determined what I'm gonna do, is then leave the stress about it out, and that koach that you used for stressing over it, just put that into the holy work, into avodat Hashem. Doesn't exempt you from trying to work hard and trying to grow a business. That's still there. But what on a stress and anxiety level, if you took all the koach, all the power, all the soul power you invest in stress and anxiety subconsciously, and you put that into learning.
Ari actually taught me a beautiful equation one time. He says, well, how do we balance hishtadlut, the amount that we put effort into, and bitachon, in our trust in God that it's going to happen anyway? And so I think I'm going to quote you right, and if not, then fix it, that you put as much effort as you put into until you start feeling stress, anxiety, nervousness, concern. And at that point, it means you've already done too much. If you're starting to stress yourself out with as much work, you're working so hard that it's already knocked you off into a place of unhappiness, stress, fear. That means that you're already pushing too hard. And that you should push as hard as you can.
And then you stop there. But it's like a muscle, I think, and you can continuously, each time, push a little bit harder without having that anxiety, push the hishtadlut more without the anxiety. But then once you hit it, you sort of...
Wait, but a muscle that you're supposed to... So, I mean, is the goal to be trying harder and harder?
No, the goal is just to do as much as you can before negativity enters, and then striking that sort of balance of Omona and bitachon together.
Because I'm always torn with this exact issue.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
three
it's a big
kings that talk about in Israel. There's Chizkiyahu, David HaMelech, and Yoshiyahu. And the Gemara says that each one of them had their own strategies of how they accomplished their mission. So I imagine this is a mission in war, a mission in Parnasa. Business is war. The art of war is it's like the same thing, where one just davened, one just went out to battle, and one davened and went out to battle. And really, what's the highest level there? I always really struggle with what is the highest. I think sometimes just to daven and then let it come. That would be miraculous. But the Gemara says it's really the mixture of both is really the highest level. So in some ways, it's actually to be in this world fully and be fully davening. And somehow that fusion is what I understand. David HaMelech was the king. That's what he came to teach us.
That's beautiful. I really think that adding the element of what the Chazal say, he was already determined what you're going to make. Put that into the hishtat, what you just described. It seems to me that would be the most healthiest dynamic combination of Torah and Avodah that a person could do in this world. And I think that we understand why in the Beit Hamikdash, the Kohanim were told, you have to show people the lechem hapanim when they come. If they really want to understand me, they want to get close to me, show them dafka this miracle. Why? Because you usually think, I worked so hard and therefore I got this, right? So and so. It makes sense. But dafka lechem, bread, which represents parnasa, what were they basically being shown? Those people that would come to the Beit Hamikdash. You think that it's based on what you're working right now? It was already determined a while ago. We put this loaf of bread last week. It's not right now. It was last week placed on the shulchan, and it still remained fresh. Why? Because Hashem decided that it would remain fresh and be given to you whenever it was. Treat every dollar you earn as if it was like lechem, the showbread that was placed a long time ago, whenever it was, last week, last year. Treat your lechem, treat your energy with parnasa as if maybe I did the work last week. Maybe I did it 2 weeks ago. Hashem will give it to me whenever He sees fit. It's what we say in Ashrei. Ve'ata noten lahem et ochlam be'ito. You give people their sustenance in your time, Hashem. It would make sense to us that when we take something out of the oven, it's fresh, you eat it then. Hashem sometimes says you have to work hard. You got to put something, cook it, bake it, put it into the oven, take it out. But it's still not time for you to receive it. People will come to the Beit Hamikdash and realize it's time to start working on God's clock, not on our clock. And that's why it was so important for all those that came to Jerusalem to celebrate, to basically get their watches, to tune their time, recalculate everything and realize it's Hashem's Zman, it's Hashem's world. Because when we plug in Emunah with the world of Parnasa, the stress really does go away. Doesn't mean life becomes easy, but that stress that like you were, that Jeremy was quoting in your name, Ari, that stress was such an evil force when it comes to how we understand how God rules the world.
I'll tell you a meditation that I use quite often, especially now with the farm. There's been so many times where the stress financially has just been overwhelming. And now, I think all of us are approaching 40. We're getting pretty close, like a year or two away. And I've been through so many really almost seems like rock bottom times, Parnasa level.
You?
Yeah, it's happened many times. And now I'm looking at myself, well, I'm still alive. Things are still fine. All of those times before that I was so stressed out and so nervous. How are things going to come together? How is it going to work? Each time the man fell when the man needed to fall, and I had enough to eat and enough to feed my family. So too, when times come up now, I sort of look back in time man, all of that wasted energy, all of that time, here I am, alive and well. Here we all are, alive and well. And all of those times in the past, what a wasted amount of energy. So too, as it was in the past, so too it will be in the future.
You and I are always saying, all we got to do is just make it to the end. we don't need that much more than that. So.
No biggie. But when you're out of sheep, what do you have left, right?
Yeah.
2 donkeys. You got 2 donkeys.
Anyway, I want to bless us all. I want to give us all a strong bracha that not to have a lot of money or not have a lot of money, because those are things that are determined. Those things were already decided on Rosh Hashanah. But to implement emunah in our approach to Parnasa is a true Yetziat Mitzrayim. That really is a very big step out of Egypt, and we're every day of Sfira. We're taking another step out of Egypt, and it's not stam that it comes up in this Parsha. The Parsha talks about Sfirat HaOmer, and a key Parsha as we're learning about all the mitzvahs Hashem has in store for us, just to get closer and closer to Him. And Alavai Be'ezrat Hashem, all our clocks will be Amash Mechuvan, they'll be set to Hashem's time, and we live in Hashem's clock in a world of Emunah. Ata noten lahem et ochlam be'ito. Hashem, you give us what we need when we need it.
For her to say that because of her discomfort with the Prime Minister, that she is not even going to come to Israel to receive this prize.
Tune in to an exclusive interview with Michael Medved, one of the most successful Jewish talk show hosts of America, has to say about Natalie Portman and the scandal about her refusing to accept a $2 million prize in Israel.
I think because she is Israeli originally, and I know my family in Israel always looked at Natalie Portman. Yes, she is on the left and she is an artiste, but she's one of ours.
That's Inside Israel Today, here on the Land of Israel Network, on thelandofisrael.com.